Our top story, violence against Syrian officials is on the rise. In the latest attack on officials, an Air Force general has been assassinated. ABDULLAH Mahmud al-Khalidi was attacked by armed gangs in the north of Damascus. The assassination has been blamed on terrorist groups operating in Syria. Local media reports say such assassinations are part of an insurgent campaign that's been targeting top figures and scientists. Khalidi is not the first to fall victim to such violence. In July, armed groups assassinated the country's defense minister Dawood Rajha in a bomb attack in the capital, Damascus. Ali, our correspondent, is joining me now live from Damascus with the latest on this attack. Mohammed, so is there any information on why this specific figure, this general, was targeted in this attack?
Well, actually, no further information except those you mentioned. Actually, this is not the first time, as you know, foreign-backed armed men try to assassinate and do assassinate actually VIP persons and, of course, generals and officers in the Syrian army, whether in the military personnel or in the Air Force command. However, of course, as the sources here have been saying and analysts, this is a widespread campaign, of course, by those foreign-backed armed men to assassinate actually officers in the Syrian Arab army, sometimes in order to ask for money, sometimes only to kill. It depends on which side, of course, did the assassination or kidnapped any figure. However, allow me to say that there are several actually developments on the ground, especially after the end of this temporary ceasefire, which should have been taking effect actually, of course, during the al-Khalidi holiday, 4 days, but actually a lot of violations, as you know, happened. In Harasta today, fierce clashes happened between the foreign-backed armed men and the Syrian army, as several armed men were reported to be killed and injured, and actually a large number of explosive devices were actually over there diffused by the Syrian army. Those explosive devices were planted by those armed men on the streets, inside the houses of the people over there. So yes, clashes did happen in Damascus suburbs. Also, there were clashes in Aleppo and its countryside, mainly in al-Qatraji, Qast al-Harami and Bab al-Hadid areas over there in Aleppo, as clashes did continue. We also know that a group of armed men tried to attack actually the civilians and people living in Tel Dirra area, which is in al-Salamiyya and Hama countryside. But over there, of course, the foreign-backed armed men were confronted by the Syrian army. They had actually about 7 vehicles loaded with weapons and Doshka machine guns, and they had an RPG. So yes, over there clashes also happened and several armed men were killed. We have also developments in Deir al-Zor city in al-Ma'iriya area. Over there also foreign-backed armed men tried to attack civilians, but they were confronted by the Syrian army, and a large number of armed men were actually reported killed. So yes, Damascus suburbs mainly, and those areas are witnessing now clashes as we speak.
Ali, our correspondent, joining us there live from Damascus.